Good evening. This is the February 5th, 2025 Seminole County Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This board is a 7-member board appointed by the Board of County Commissioners. A quorum has been established to hold tonight's meeting. Public hearing items acted upon by this board are referred to the Board of County Commissioners for further consideration. Board members present tonight are myself, Chairman Mike Lorenz, Commissioner Tim Smith, Commissioner Carissa Lahan, and Commissioner Brandy Iapola, Commissioner Richard German. Staff present tonight are Jose Gomez, Development Services Chief Administrator, Nasa Borkert, Deputy County Attorney, Vladimir Simonowski, Development Review Engineer Manager, Joy Giles, Principal Planner, Annie Silloway, Senior Planner, Caitlin Apgar, Planner, Tammy Brushwood, P&Z Board Clerk. Tonight's meeting will go as follows. Staff will introduce the item. The applicant will present their item. Audience members wishing to speak will then be heard. Audience participation requires each speaker complete a comment card and give that to the clerk. Comment cards are located in the lobby. Please indicate on the comment card whether you would like to make an oral comment or written comments will also be accepted. Speakers should restrict their comments to information directly related to the item being heard. When called, speakers should approach the microphone clearly stating their name and address for the record. The board may ask questions of the speaker. After all speakers have been heard, public comment will be closed. The applicant will be given a chance for rebuttal. Any items shown, such as videos, presentations, pictures, or maps, must be left with the clerk for public record. Items shown from electronic devices should also be mailed to the clerk. A motion will be made and seconded. Board discussion may occur and conclude with a vote. I'll request a roll call vote for any split votes. So our agenda items, we'll start with the acceptance and approval of the proofs of publication. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
And a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, that passed. Next, we'll do approval of minutes. Does the board have any changes? Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Next, we'll be moving on to the technical review items. Howell Branch Preliminary Subdivision Plan, presented by Caitlin Apgar.
Good evening, Caitlin Apgar, Planning and Development Services for the record. The applicant is requesting the approval of a preliminary subdivision plan for 15 residential lots located on 4.34 acres on the east side of Howell Branch Road. The property was rezoned from A1 to the current zoning of R1BB on August 22nd, 2023. The future land use is medium-density residential, which allows up to a maximum of 10 dwelling units per net buildable acre. The subdivision is proposing a total of 15 lots on 4.34 acres. The project proposes approximately 4 dwelling units per net buildable acre. The minimum lot size of each lot is 5,000 square feet, and the minimum lot width at building line is 50 feet. Each lot proposed is meeting the minimum zoning requirements. All internal roads will be private and maintained by the homeowners association. Utilities will be provided by Seminole County. Staff requests the approval of the preliminary subdivision plan for the Howell Branch subdivision containing 15 residential lots on 4.34 acres, zoned R1BB Single Family Dwelling District, located on the east side of Howell Branch Road.
Thank you.
Stand by for any questions.
Is there any questions from the board? And if they complete a comment card, if they have not already done so. Is there any public comments for this? No? Okay. All right.
Applicant to proceed.
Yeah, is the applicant here? Ben, would you like to present?
No to present, I haven't answered any questions.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions for the staff or applicant?
Don't. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to move that we request approval of the preliminary subdivision plan for the Howell Branch subdivision containing 15 residential lots on 4.34 acres, zoned R1BB, single-family dwelling, located on the east side of Howell Branch Road, approximately 800 feet south of Bear Gully Road.
Second.
And I have a second.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. It's approved. All right. And our next item, we're going to go to public hearing items. It's Highway 46 Commercial Small Scale Future Land Use Map Amendment and PZ Rezoning, again, presented by Caitlin Apgar.
Hey guys, Caitlin Apgar, Planning and Development Services for the record. All right. The applicant is requesting the approval for a small-scale future land use map amendment from higher intensity planned development target industry to planned development and a rezone from A1 agriculture and C1 retail commercial district to PD planned development for a proposed automotive collision center located on the north side of State Road 46 and west of Harvest Time Drive. The proposed future land use amendment is from higher intensity planned development target industry to planned development. The applicant is proposing a maximum floor area ratio of 0.35. The parcel currently has split zoning. The northern half is A1 agriculture and the southern half is C1 retail commercial. The property is currently existing as an abandoned borrow pit and has a single-family structure on the property. The applicant is proposing to dewater a portion of the borrow pit while utilizing the rest for stormwater retention. The applicant proposes to develop a subject site as an automotive collision center to the east and a second commercial parcel to the west. Permitted uses include uses as allowable under the C2 General Commercial District, as well as the collision center uses. The PD proposes sufficient setbacks and buffering between the proposed development and the abutting medium-density residential uses, as well as the future commercial development to the west that's fronting State Road 46. The property is located within 2 overlays. The urban centers and corridors overlay is applicable through the comprehensive plan. The development meets the overall intent of the urban centers and corridors overlay, and that the redevelopment of the site will provide for jobs in the area near existing housing, and shared vehicular and pedestrian access will be provided. The State Road 46 Gateway Corridor overlay includes design standards to provide a scenic gateway with uniform design standards. Signage and landscaping are to comply with the Seminole County Land Development Code provisions for the gateway overlay, and the minimum building setback of 50 feet from State Road 46 as required is provided. The buffer width per this overlay is 25 feet and is illustrated on the proposed master development plan. The applicant has also provided a 15-foot wide landscape buffer to the east in compliance with the local road buffer code requirements. The west perimeter buffer requirement will be established at final development plan for Phase 2 in accordance with the land development code provisions and requirements. This will ensure adequate transition between the adjacent townhome development with the future commercial developments to the west and the proposed intensity of Phase 2 at time of development. The subject property is located within the City of Sanford utility area and is subject to the provisions of the joint planning agreement established between the county and the City of Sanford. The applicant and staff have coordinated with the City of Sanford to organize a pre-annexation agreement, which would also allow for the provisions of utilities from the City of Sanford. The development proposes access via State Road 46, which is classified as an urban principal arterial operating at a level of service B, and a second access off of Harvest Time Drive, which is classified as a local road operating at a service level of A. The proposed project also provides for a minimum of 25% open space, and parking shall be in accordance with the Seminole County Land Development Code. In compliance with Seminole County Land Development Code Section 30.49, Community Meeting Procedures, the applicant conducted a community meeting on December 9th, 2024. Details of the community meeting have been provided in the agenda packet. Staff finds the request to be consistent with the Seminole County Comprehensive Plan and compatible with the trend of development in the area. Staff requests the Board of County Commissioners adopt the ordinance enacting a small-scale future land use map amendment from higher intensity planned development target industry to planned development in a rezone from A1 agriculture and C1 retail commercial to PD planned development for a proposed automotive collision center. That concludes my presentation. I'll stand by for any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions for staff?
I have one. I have maybe just clarification. The way the staff report was written, we were talking about the urban centers and corridors overlay district, and there's a statement there that says, this overlay precludes the property from being used as an automotive collision center. And then it seemed to jump into the discussion regarding the pre-annexation agreement. And so I wasn't sure, does the pre-annexation agreement help to resolve the problem in the paragraph above? Or is it only for the purpose of the utilities, like you mentioned tonight?
It's on, so the pre-annexation is being coordinated with City of Sanford, and it's going to be more executed at the time of site plan, but the urban centers and corridor overlay is a separate topic. It precluded the operation of a collision center in conjunction with the future land use. On its own, it doesn't prohibit the use itself,
Oh, okay.
if that makes sense.
So under the current future land use, it would be prohibited, but if we make the change requested tonight, we would resolve that?
Correct.
Okay.
It's not a prohibited use in Sanford, is it, at this location?
No, Sanford, we've coordinated with Sanford, and they are supportive of the use and
Okay.
want to annex in after development procedures through the county.
Thank you.
Chairman, if I may just add to that. So just as a point of clarification, it's really confusing, and I understand your confusion. It explains it a little bit better on page 7 of the staff report, but the HIP-TI future land use map designation does allow for collision centers. But when the corridor overlay goes over it, that is what, those two in conjunction with one another is what precludes it. So you're exactly right. This rezoning will help alleviate that conflict where we have a yes and a in conjunction with a overlay equals a no. It'll work out that.
But the purpose of overlays
Consistency.
is kind of to present areas there should be conflict, right?
Well, the purpose of overlays, and Caitlin as a planner can talk about it more, I'm only a legal person, but it's typically to add additional standards in certain areas where they feel it's necessary. There's a comp plan overlay here, and then there's a State Road 46 overlay, which you guys have heard about that one before. You know, that's more design elements and stuff like that. The urban corridor overlay, and Caitlin can talk about it more, is in the comp plan, and that's more about what you want to see along the corridors as far as uses go, rather than design standards.
Yeah, I would agree. The urban centers and corridor overlay by itself is more, the intent is to provide for jobs and pedestrian access and all of that good sorts of stuff. But yeah, there's just like a section of it that if it weren't in the corridor, the HIP-TI allows for automotive collision center uses. It doesn't, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions currently for staff? Okay. Is the applicant here? And would you like to present or come up?
Just available for any questions.
Okay. And would anybody from the audience wish to speak either for or against this? And did you fill out any forms? I don't have any on my desk. Seeing none, I'll open and close public comments on this. Is there any other discussion from the board or questions for staff or the applicant?
I have a question for staff. The other thing that just struck me a little bit confusing in the staff report is that the requested action involves two different points and it's an and. So what's the reason for writing it like that instead of how you normally recommend that we make motions?
So I can answer that. For a best practice, and this has come out through more recent case law over the years when there's been challenges to comp plan and rezonings in general. The case law has come out that because, and you all know this, so I'm telling you something you already know, a comp plan amendment request is a legislative action, meaning that, you don't have to have a quasi-judicial proceeding for it. A rezoning is required to have a quasi-judicial proceeding. It's not a legislative action. When we present these together, we kind of meld those two together and just take it as a quasi-judicial action. But to make sure that, and there's two different standards for each, and on appeal, there's two different review two different ways that you can go, or there's actually multiple ways you can go with these. It's a best practice to do two motions, the comp plan amendment first, because it's legislative action, and then the rezoning second, because rezoning requires the comp plan to be in place.
So you don't want one motion that includes both of these, you want two separate motions?
That would be the best practice, yes. I mean, if we could start, if you all are okay with that and start moving forward, you are not, if you were the final decision maker on this, I would make you do it, because that's when, once the final order is done, that's when the appeal can come in. So with the Board of County Commissioners, yes, we've been requesting that they do separate motions. For you all, you're making a recommendation, so it would be a best practice for you to do it, but you don't necessarily have to do it because you're not the final arbiter of
So
it.
this is how we'll start seeing these in the future, though? And that's,
Yes, because this is the way it's...
Seminole County's about the only place I know of that runs this together like this. Most everywhere else separates it as a comp plan
Mr. German,
amendment and a zoning.
Yep, you're absolutely
With the comp
right.
plan first and the zoning right behind.
Yep, in every jurisdiction I've worked in prior to Seminole County, that's how it's done. So when I got here, I was a little bit,
Well, why don't we make sure in the future that we do it right?
The same thing.
yes, that's what I'm,
Have staff separated.
yeah, that's what we're trying to work on with the staff reports, having two different distinct analyses within the staff reports, having two different distinct motions.
Because this is a major comp plan amendment, because and so it's got to get transmitted to the state, so it's going to take a little while, right? So
Well, I think it's a small scale.
It's a small scale.
It's
a small
above
scale.
10 acres, isn't it?
I think it's
11 something.
11, but I don't think that constitutes.
11.64.
Doesn't that make it a large
Yeah, I
scale?
think the threshold is 50 acres.
Oh, it's commercial different. I'm sorry. Is that right?
Okay. Yeah.
What?
Joy just confirmed that it is 50 or more acres.
On commercial. Yeah. I'm sorry, you're right. I was thinking residential.
Okay.
Any more comments or a motion?
We gonna make two motions?
Yeah, we make two
Well,
motions.
all at once, or?
No, I'd make two motions.
I'll make a motion to recommend to the Board of County Commissioners, I'll start with the adopt this proposed small-scale future land use map amendment and concurrent rezone as per the following. Based on the staff's findings and the testimony and evidence received at the hearing, the board finds the request does meet the identified portions of the comprehensive plan and moves to adopt the requested small-scale future land use map amendment from higher intensity plan development, target industry to plan development.
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Do I have another motion?
Go for it. You're on a roll.
Okay. I'll make a motion to recommend to the Board of County Commissioners to adopt the proposed small-scale future land use map amendment and concurrent rezone as per the following. Based on staff's findings and the testimony and evidence received at the hearing, the board
finds the request does meet the identified portions of the Seminole County Land Development Code and moves to adopt the requested rezone from A1 agricultural to C1 retail commercial to PD, plan development, and associated development order and master development plan.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And just as a note, if you all would like, we can ensure that there's a requested motion slide up there that's tailored
Great
to
idea. Yes,
the board,
please.
so that you can say, we recommend, add all the verbiage. We can add that to the end if you'd like to see a proposed motion from staff.
That'd be great.
To
Keep it uniform.
Yeah.
In the book is fine.
I agree.
We'll add it in there. You can use it or not, whatever you want to do.
Options.
All right, moving on to our next item, the Encore at Hillview rezone, presented by Annie Silloway.
Hi. Hi. Good evening. Annie Silloway, Senior Planner with Development Services. I'll be presenting the Encore at Hillview rezone. The applicant is requesting a rezone from A1 agriculture to R3A multiple family dwelling in order to construct a townhome development with a minimum lot size of 2,200 square feet with a maximum density of 10 dwelling units per net buildable acre for a total of 28 lots. The subject property has an existing A1 agriculture zoning designation and a high-density residential future land use designation, which allows up to a maximum of 20 dwelling units per net buildable acre. However, the requested R3A multiple family dwelling zoning district limits the density to a maximum of 10 dwelling units per net buildable acre. The site is located in the City of Altamont Springs Utility Service Area and will be required to connect to public utilities. The applicant has provided a letter from the City of Altamont Springs that they could provide potable water and sanitary sewer to serve the proposed development. The applicant has provided a development plan showing the layout of buildings, circulation, buffers, and parking for the townhome units. The applicant is proposing a 25-foot wide landscape buffer along the west portion of the subject site that abuts the Oakland Hills subdivision, a 10-foot wide landscape buffer on the south along Hillview Drive, and a 12.5-foot wide landscape buffer along the east portion of the site. And the applicant will provide 25% common usable open space, excluding the landscape buffers on the subject property. Section 30.4.8 in the Seminole County Land Development Code, R3 and R3A multiple family dwelling district, the requested R3A zoning classification is composed of low-density to medium-density residential areas plus open areas where it is likely and desirable to extend such type of development. The subject site is situated where it is well-serviced by public and commercial services and has convenient access to thoroughfares or collector roads. Per policy FLU 5.2.3, the purpose and intent of the high-density residential future land use designation is to provide for a range of residential development at a maximum density of 20 dwelling units per net buildable acre. High-density residential development should be located adjacent to the major collector and arterial roadways to minimize local traffic on local and minor collector roadways, and to provide convenient access to transit facilities, and can act as an efficient transitional use between non-residential and medium-density residential uses. The applicant conducted a community meeting on May 13th, 2024. And staff requests the Board of County Commissioners adopt the ordinance enacting a rezone from A1 agriculture to R3A multiple family dwelling for a townhome development of 28 lots. And that concludes my presentation.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
Questions of staff?
Quick, to clarify.
Sure.
Because the current future land use allows up to 20 dwelling units per acre, what we're being asked to do here tonight actually lowers the density. the
Yes,
intensity.
yes, the R3A zoning does limit it to 10.
Perfect. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
You're welcome.
And is the applicant here?
Let me ask Annie a quick question.
Yes.
The site plan will come back to you for approval, staff only, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And they are here.
Zach Miller, I'm here for any questions you have.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that. All right. Is there any questions for the applicant? Yeah. All right. Is there any public comment? Anybody here to speak? I don't see any cards. I'll close public comments. All right. Any other questions or motions or?
I'll make a motion.
Discussion?
I'll make a motion that the Board of County Commissioners adopt the ordinance enacting a rezone from A1 agriculture to R3A multiple family dwelling for a townhome development of 28 lots on approximately 3.34 acres located on the north side of Hillview Drive, approximately a quarter mile east of State Road 434.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
So that concludes the public hearing side of this meeting. Let's move on. Jose, do you have anything for the board tonight?
Yes, good evening, Jose Gomez, Development Services Director. I just want to let you know, it's the items that were brought up tonight about the legislative actions versus the rezonings. That's something that we'll be working with the county attorney's office, and we'll be changing the way some of the staff reports look coming to you, as well as the motions. So that's something that we'll be working with very closely with the county attorney's office. So you may be seeing some changes in how these items come forward to you to clear some of that up and to make sure that that if there are challenges, that they are legally defensible, as the county attorney stated. I also want to let you know, we started interviewing for the Planning and Development Division Manager position this week, and we're starting interviews for the Deputy Director of Development Services next week. So hopefully those will be fruitful, and hopefully maybe by next meeting, I'll be able to announce whether we've been able to fill those positions.
Excellent. Good luck with the hunt.
Great. All right, thank you.
Oh, Jose, do you want to provide them an update on the Terracina project? That it was with the Terracina self-storage?
Yeah, the Terracina self-storage project that came before you, that was recommended for denial, was subsequently withdrawn by the applicant before it went to Board of County Commissioners, so it was not heard. So that project will not be moving forward at this time.
Thank you for the update. Is the board want to discuss anything else? Are we good? Good. All right, I'm adjourned.
Thank you.
Good, not bad.